nowadays, you've got that outlet because people nowadays.
Before we get straight into the podcast, I just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, Declan Kirby GAA Star. Declan Kirby GAA Star Championship Journey. It's a series of GAA team children's books written by primary school teacher and GAA coach Michael Egan. You can check it out in the link in the description down below, of course, as well. Follow the trials and tribulations of Declan Kirby and his team at Smithgreen Gaelic Football Club, recently formed but promising GAA team. The book is now available in Easons and all good bookshops, so check it out in the description down below, and let's get straight into it. So here we go. The All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final is finally here. It's definitely after quite a long wait and all the interruption and everything in between. The All-Ireland Senior Football Championship is here, and this is the live watch-along stream here between Mayo and Tyrone in the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final. I could see a few comments coming in there already. And yeah, very excited for this game. I have to say, like, a huge game between these two counties. I mean, there's definitely a lot on the line between Mayo and Tyrone. Yeah, very, very excited for this game now. We're about 8 minutes from throw-in. So, I mean, it's exciting stuff. It really, really is. And like for Mayo and Tyrone, like what a huge, huge game this is for these two counties. There's no doubt about it. There we go. That's a bit better. That's a lot better there now. Hopefully the quality is a bit better there. Moira Smith there says, would love Mayo to lift the Sam Maguire. I mean, look, listen, it's definitely going to be a huge game. I mean, there's no doubt about it between these two counties. Obviously, Mayo and Tyrone. I mean, what a huge, huge game. No doubt about it. A couple of minutes away from throw-in. Definitely get your comments in down below. Mo Messon says, are we going to get the commentary, the game? It's just the commentary, mate. I tend to do a lot of these live watch-along streams. And, yeah, there's obviously no commentary because, you know, if I was to show the game, we'd get taken down. The channel would obviously get taken down. So this is just my live reaction to the game. Obviously, speaking about the game, I'll have a couple of guests on at halftime as well. But if you do want to go and watch the game, I'm pretty sure it's on RTE. I'm pretty sure it's on GAA Go. So plenty of places where you can go and watch the game. Someone's saying there, what's the score? The game hasn't started yet, so no score at the moment. Game throws in at 5 o'clock, so we're about, yeah, we're getting very, very close now to throw in. About 5 minutes away between these two. And yeah, you know, as I said before, we will throw a prediction from myself on the screen. If I'm not too sure if many people would have watched my live or my preview for the game. Despite what some people were saying, I do want Mayo to win. But I don't think they will personally. I do think Tyrone have just, you know, in my opinion, I think they've just been far better so far this year, in my opinion. When you look at them obviously coming through the Ulster Championship, beating the likes of Donegal, for example. Donegal have obviously had Tyrone's number probably in the last couple of years, in particular under Declan Bonner. So Tyrone obviously get that victory, a huge victory. They obviously then and go and beat Monaghan in the Ulster final as well. A terrific performance, no doubt about it, from Tyrone that day. And then obviously All-Ireland semi-final. What a huge monumental win it was for them against Kerry. I mean, a terrific performance, no doubt about it. From Tyrone there, like just a brilliant defensive performance to get men behind the ball, to break on the counter-attack, to get the likes of Conor McKenna forward, who had an instrumental game in my opinion, in the Kerry game. And I think he could be of massive, massive importance. There's no doubt about it from a Tyrone point of view. So yeah, I do think that Tyrone, in my opinion, will win the game. I think they'll just have a little bit more. But it's a very hard one to call personally, because like I am a little bit on the fence between the two. Like I'm 50-50. I'm thinking, you know, Mayo could easily win it as well. And it's fine margins. And I think the opening 20 minutes is probably going to be the most important part of the game, in my opinion, because you look at Mayo down the years in All-Ireland finals, they haven't started brilliantly. And I think that's kind of been the big problem for Mayo down the years. Like, they've conceded 18 goals in all the All-Ireland finals they've been in since 1951. And 12 of them have come in the first half, and 8 of them have come inside the opening 16 minutes. So that does really kind of go to tell you that for the opening 10 to 15 minutes, I think for Mayo, they really need to start fast. They need to come out of the traps, and they certainly need to start the game as quickly as they can. So, yeah, that's the score I'm going with. Tyrone 110, Mayo 11 points. I do think Tyrone will have a bit more than Mayo. But as I said before, even as a Dublin fan, I would love to see Mayo go and win the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. You know, it's been 70 years. There's no other story in sports really quite like the Mayo story, in my opinion, when you really think about it. I mean, the fact that they've come so close throughout all these years and not got over the line, it is quite staggering. And even as a Dublin fan, I'd love to see them get their moment, get their day. And what a huge, huge achievement it would be. And what a way to cap off the GAA season as well. Really kind of putting the cherry on the cake, in my opinion, no doubt about it. I think the matchup is going to be very interesting as well, and we'll see, obviously, once the game obviously begins, in terms of the matchups, and who's Padraig O'Hora going to pick up, who's going to pick up Conor McKenna, is McKenna going to be on O'Hora, Colin McShane as well. I mean, there's a lot of very, very interesting permutations in this All-Ireland final, and we're getting very close now to throw in, just a couple of minutes away. Couple of comments in there. Mini Pro says, let's go Mayo. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge game for Mayo. I mean, huge game for Tyrone, huge game for both counties, and especially for Mayo, like, considering how close they've come down the years and in All-Ireland finals, and how well they've played, and all the rest. It'd be a huge, huge achievement for them to get over the line. Go on, Aidan boy. Hope you're enjoying the points. Make sure you keep them fresh for me there, man. Tyrone boys, yeah, I think Tyrone as well. Happy hour. That's it, man. You gotta enjoy it. Mayo says Michael de Souza Cruz. Hopefully the quality is good as well here. I'm not in my usual setup. I'm actually currently away here in London at the moment, so I don't know how the connection's going to look here. Unfortunately, the GAA reschedule and the championship and the whole COVID situation was obviously a little bit unfortunate, but here we go. Anyway, we're getting quite close to throw in, and I've got to say, like, I'm nervous in some ways, and I'm not even a supporter of any of these two counties. I'm so intrigued to see how this game goes, like, and I think it's going to be very, very fascinating. I really do. If you are new around here, by the way, if you could hit the like button and subscribe. We do a number of watch-alongs on this channel, podcast interviews, fan interviews, match reactions as well. So, I mean, a great reason to subscribe, all for free as well, no cost whatsoever. So if you could subscribe, leave a like as well, help the channel out, be very much appreciated. Senor Eggnogs there says it's all about Mayo. Yeah, look, listen, I mean, the Mayo story, I suppose, is very, very fascinating. There's nothing quite like it. But I think for Tyrone, like what I said before, I think if they go and win the All-Ireland, I mean, what a story that would be. Fergal Logan, Brian Dooher coming in as managers, their very first season, and then they go and win the All-Ireland. Like, nobody could have expected it. The first year, Mickey Hart obviously steps away last year. In comes Fergal Logan, Brian Dooher, and when you think back, they conceded 6 goals against Kerry in that league game earlier in the year. So the fact that they've actually managed to bounce back and go all the way to an All-Ireland final is an incredible achievement. And I do think that in many ways they're probably, like, they have overachieved to a certain extent this year, because they certainly weren't expecting to get to an All-Ireland final. So I think for them to go and win the All-Ireland Championship, I mean, what an achievement that would be, no doubt about it. Michael de Souza Cruz says Tyrone got 2 fortuitous goals. Kerry 1 second there. Kerry are 22 over the bar. Mayo came from behind in spectacular fashion. We have no idea how this is going to turn out. Yeah, it's a fair point, mate. Look, listen, I think the thing is with Mayo is that they didn't defensively. They were very impressive against Dublin. They stopped Dublin doing a lot of what Dublin are good at. For example, they limited Conor O'Callaghan really in the second half. Kieran Kilkenny, these lads, definitely, there's no doubt about it that Dublin struggled. But I do think Mayo, in all honesty, fair enough, they were brilliant defensively, but it was only until about 60 minutes really that they got going. 60 minutes or so. So, once the thing is, they never seem to give up. They always seem to have that fight. That's been the one thing about this Mayo team really over the past 10 years is that they're always there. There's always something there. They're never quite beaten until the final whistle is blown. And it will be interesting to see what happens here as well. Someone mentioning the living room pub. David Martin says, good man, Aaron, watching here from California. Cheers, man. I hope you're, I'm sure the weather is pretty nice in California, unlike here in Europe. Anyways, it's not brilliant. It's not, although to be fair, I'm here in London actually at the moment. But looking at the game here at the moment, it does look like the weather looks a little bit decent, to be fair. So here we go then. We're about to throw in Joe McQuillan, the referee, Dublin Joe as they call him. He's the referee from Cavan. So he's going to be the man that's going to throw the ball in. And yeah, live watch along stream. Here we go. As I said before, I'm not showing the game because obviously copyright reasons and whatnot. But yeah, the game is available on a number of different, RTE, GAA Go. You can watch it all there. So happy days, win-win situation. So here we go then. We're about to throw in. Who's going to win the throw-in? You've got Aidan O'Shea in there. You've got Conor Loftus, Brian Kennedy, Con Kilpatrick, all in the throw-in. So it's going to be very fascinating stuff now, you'd have to say. So here we go. Then the ball's been thrown in. Aidan O'Shea wins it straight away. Obviously a big game for Aidan O'Shea, being named at 11. Obviously didn't have his best game a full forward in the last match against the Dubs. Obviously was taken off after about 48 minutes. And Tommy Conroy straight away there putting the ball over the bar. So Mayo straight away taking the lead. Look at that. Lovely bit of play from Tommy Conroy. Charged into the challenge, puts it over the bar. That's a great start for Mayo. It's obviously been well documented. They had a struggling start against Galway. They had a struggling start against Dublin as well. And obviously, like what I said before, they have struggled in the opening stages of All-Ireland finals. So I think that's kind of what makes this a huge game. And especially if they can come, flashing out of the traps, get a couple of early points, it'd be huge. And there's been an error from the kick out there, and Tyrone win it back straight away. Brilliant intensity here so far from Mayo, and they rush Tyrone out over the sideline. That's going to be a 45, and Mayo have started like a house on fire here at the moment, that has to be said. Big kick here, Robert Henley. Huge opportunity. Can he manage to kick his second score of the game? He's put it wide there by the looks of it. So stays 1 point for Mayo. Obviously, that would have been a big moment actually for Mayo, to get a 2-point lead, even at this early stage as well. I think that would have been fairly impressive there from a Mayo point of view. And Tyrone winning the kick out. I suppose the kick out is always a fascinating battle as well. And certainly Noel Morgan's kick outs have been very well documented. The score so far anyway, Mayo 1 point, Tyrone 0. I won't be updating the score on the stream or anything like that because it just yeah, it just requires far too much effort to be perfectly honest. So we'll go with the score as they go along, and Mayo at the moment leading by a point. Matty Donnelly on the ball at the moment, like just massive pressure there from the likes of Ryan O'Donoghue on him as well. And it will be fascinating to see like who does come out on top in these early stages. And you'd have to say here at the moment, like Mayo have really started fast. Molly says, I may be from Sligo and I may be 11, but up Mayo, you can do it. Yeah, I mean, look, listen, I think a lot of people around the country probably want Mayo to win this All-Ireland. You know, there's no doubt about that. I think the majority of people probably want Mayo to do it. And that's nothing got to do with Tyrone, you know, nothing got to do with Tyrone whatsoever. I just think this Mayo story is very fascinating indeed. And it would be great to see them get over the line, but we will see what happens. Tyrone are charging forward here at the moment, trying to find the way back into the game. Conor McKenna offloads it there. Obviously for Tyrone, they make the decision not to start Cathal McShane. They leave him on the bench, which, oh, God bless me there. Which is an interesting one, isn't it? Interesting for Tyrone not to go with Cathal McShane, but at the same time, like I think having him off the bench, having him in reserve, like I think that's a huge achievement. It's player one says let me use your Sky Go. I don't even have a Sky Go account, so you know, we wouldn't really have much use there. Certainly at the moment, like Mayo are really driving at Tyrone's defence, and it is causing a couple of problems. Like Tyrone probably haven't got up to the speed of the game. It must be said. Frank Burns struggling a little bit there, and obviously concedes the Mayo free. Ryan O'Donoghue standing over at the moment. I am watching this on RTE Player, so I may be a few seconds behind the live time, but we'll see what happens. And Ryan O'Donoghue, has he put it wide? No, he hasn't. He's put it over. 2 points for Mayo. Mayo 2, Tyrone 0. Perfect start so far for Mayo. 2 points up. And look, listen, it's obviously been well documented with Mayo and having, you know, struggling starts in All-Ireland finals, but it has to be said, they've started very, very well here so far. Foul there. From Michael Plunkett, I think it was. So we'll see what happens here with Noel Morgan. He might come up and take this free. Oisin Mullen obviously starting for Mayo as well. Obviously a late change. Obviously he was injured for the All-Ireland semi-final. And A Stokes says, when does it start? The game started already. Mayo leading 2 points at the moment after 5 minutes. Noel Morgan standing over a free here. A free obviously conceded by Michael Plunkett. So it's a chance for Tyrone to come back into the game. As Shay Mack says there, Mayo 2 points, Tyrone 0 at the moment. No points for Tyrone, but we'll see what happens here with this 45 from Noel Morgan. He's put it over the bar, so 2 points to 1. So Tyrone have half the deficit. They get their first score of the game. Mayo winning the kick out as well and moving very, very fast. I think Tyrone are definitely setting up they're trying to play a similar way to how they would have played against Kerry with a lot of men back. But at the moment, you'd have to say that Mayo are getting more joy. They've started very fast. They've started like a house on fire. And I suppose there, Ryan O'Donoghue runs into traffic and Tyrone do have it back. Two points to 1 for Mayo here at the moment. Tyrone just playing it around, passing it around from side to side. trying to work a score. And outside of the boot effort there, I think, and it goes over the bar. That's a really, really fine point that has to be said there. What a wonderful score. It looked like it went over the bar from what I seen there. Padraig Hampsey, what a score that is. I mean, that might be the score of the final. I mean, what an unbelievable kick there from Padraig Hampsey, the cornerback. I mean, hitting it with his the outside of his right boot from about 30 to 40 meters, puts it over the bar, 2-2. And Mayo started very, very well, but Tyrone have come back into it. And you can see what Tyrone are trying to do here. They've got a lot of men back. They're trying to, wait for Mayo to make a mistake. They're being very aggressive in the tackle as well. 2-3 players charging on Connor Loftus there, and certainly Connor Loftus struggling. The ref has called a foul though, so will be an opportunity for Mayo. Ryan O'Donoghue goes down the line. Lovely take as well there from Kevin McLaughlin, but Tyrone have it back, and I suppose that's what Tyrone's defense has to do. They have to be patient and try and win the ball back. A few comments coming in there about sharing screens and showing the match. As I said before, I'm not showing the game. This is a live watch-along stream. It says it in the title. So if I was obviously to show the game, copyright, all the rest. So if you want to watch the game, the great news is that it is on television. So, that's the best place to watch it. Tyrone on the attack here at the moment. Where can I stream the game? Well, I suppose you can stream the game on GAA Go or RTE. Yeah, I suppose maybe it is a bit selfish from the GAA, to not have the game everywhere. But what can you do? GAA Go, thankfully, it's available. Like, I'm not in Ireland myself as well. Sounds like Chris needs a bit of help there. Yeah, I'm not in Ireland either. Unfortunately, I'm in London actually here at the moment. So yeah, unfortunately, I've had to watch it on GAA Go. Tyrone in front for the first time in the game, 3-2. Brilliant stuff, it must be said, from Tyrone. Like, brilliant response after going 2 points down. Mayo certainly started the game very, very fast. Like, started like a house on fire. But Tyrone have, they've settled the score a little bit. Noel Morgan scored, Padraig Hampsey as well. And Darren McCurry obviously got that most recent point. So 3-2. Lovely play here from Tyrone, playing it from side to side. Just wait for the right opportunity. Feel free to get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on the game so far. I think Tyrone, especially after the opening 10 minutes, 5 or 6 minutes where Mayo got that opening 2 scores, have certainly started to come back into the game. And you can see Tyrone on the ball here as well, like Noel Morgan coming up there, up by the 40-yard line. Tyrone trying to be patient, trying to work a score, trying to wait for the right opportunities. Tyrone definitely slowing the game down, and like, this is what I suppose they're going to do. This is what all the top teams tend to do, is slow the game down, wait for the right opportunities. No point rushing it. And I do think this is the problem for Mayo, is that if they do find a situation where they go 3, 4, 5 points down, you could have a scenario where Tyrone really do slow the game down, get a lot of men behind the ball, and really see the game out and really protect that lead. But here comes Mayo on the counter-attack, breaking with a lot of pace, and Oisin Mullen there racing forward, but he gets cleaned out by the looks of it. But Mayo do still have the ball. Kevin McLaughlin on the ball there at the moment. And Conor Loftus has the final opportunity, but looks like it went wide. It was Oisin Mullen breaking forward, and he, again, like, that's the thing with Tyrone. Like, you see there, you have 2-3 men all around them at the one stage in the game when Oisin Mullen's breaking forward. Katrina Fallon says, no offense, we don't want to listen to you. Well, you're the one you're the one here listening to me, so you know, that's your decision. No one's making you watch. And you know what, I think I'll do you a favor. Mayo Abu, yeah, a lot of Mayo fans getting their comments in. Score at the moment, Mayo 2 points, Tyrone 3 points. Miles Delaney there asking what the score is. Mayo at the moment, they started very well, like the opening 2 points, very, very impressive stuff from a Mayo point of view. And then obviously Tyrone get the 3 points and response. Mayo on the attack here at the moment. Ryan O'Donoghue looking to break away, gets away from Matty Donnelly. Lovely forward pass, opportunity, big save by Noel Morgan, and then cleared on the line. Chaotic stuff there from in this game after about 14 minutes. It was Mayo on the attack. It was a forward pass. I can't quite see who it was there who had the opportunity. It looked like maybe it was Aidan O'Shea. Fell eventually to Tommy Conroy, and then there was a block. Like, brilliant stuff there from Mayo, like playing that forward pass. Big opportunity for Brian Walsh. Forces the save of Noel Morgan. And then, you know, it comes back out to Tommy Conroy. And a huge interception on the line there, it must be said. You know, I think goals are going to be so important. Like, you're seeing, all right, fair enough, the game actually probably started a lot better than what I was expecting. You know, I was certainly expecting it to be very cagey and very, both sides obviously very nervous. Like, it's a huge game and there's obviously a lot on the line here. And you would have to say that in the opening 5 or 6 minutes, probably not the case. But I think in the last 10 minutes or so, we're starting to see this, you know, both sides missing a few opportunities that they wouldn't normally. You know, a few straight passes here as well. A lovely pass there into Kevin McLaughlin, who's playing a 13. Really the engine on that Mayo side in many ways. I suppose with Mayo, like when they have the ball, they're trying to play at such a high intensity, like passing it from side to side. But they're really trying to get their running game going and running at Tyrone and trying to be direct. Mayo on the attack again. Lovely bit of play. 2 points to 3 at the moment. Ryan O'Donoghue, I mean, they're running at Tyrone and they are causing a couple of problems, it must be said. Ryan O'Donoghue with a lovely kick. Lovely bit of play from Mayo. 3 points apiece now. Both sides level. Lovely bit of play there from Ryan O'Donoghue. And Mayo with the score. Suppose we're approaching the first water break now in a few moments. That's the score there at the moment. 3 points apiece after about 16 minutes. Well, Tyrone have just scored there. Lovely kick from Darren McCurry. That's a lovely point there in his left boot. And a fantastic response from Tyrone as well. Mayo obviously get the equaliser. They draw the game level. And now going down the water break, Tyrone leading by a point. 4 points to 3. And I suppose so far, like, it has been cagey in some respects, like both sides trying to settle into the game. You can see what Tyrone are trying to do. Like, they're trying to crowd inside their own, 45 line area. They're trying to rush Mayo into mistakes. They're trying to force turnovers. But I think Mayo, so far, to be fair to them, have done a really good job at, responding to that. Like, they've created a couple of opportunities themselves. They've won a couple of frees. So I think it's been impressive stuff, it must be said, so far from Tyrone. Mary Grew says, Tom from Castlebarn, Australia, 32 years. Great to listen to you. Cheers very much, Mary. Appreciate that. And Senor Eggnogs says, don't worry, Mayo has this in the bag. Yeah, I suppose. I mean, that's your perception. I think Brian Dooher and Fergal Logan, though, I think they'll definitely be happy so far with the game. Anyways, there's no doubt about it. Like, to be 4 points to 3 up, and obviously, still very much in the balance, still a lot on the line. So we will have to wait and see how this game goes on. But 4 points to 3, I suppose, is it is fairly low scoring, it must be said, so far. Anyways, I suppose we are just at the first water break, and as Michael De Souza Cruz says, a lot more game to come. Yeah, there's still a lot to happen here. And Aidan O'Shea driving forward, offloads it into Tommy Conroy, creates a bit of space, and Mayo are getting away from Tyrone, and they are creating those opportunities. Tyrone probably aren't getting those same amount of blocks in as they were against Kerry to a certain extent. But I suppose you do remember, like, Kerry did score 22 points. So, and a brilliant bit of play from Tommy Conroy. It does look like the referees called it back for a free. I think it was for an earlier foul on Aidan O'Shea. So Ryan O'Donoghue, big opportunity here to level the game and to put it 4 points apiece. You would expect them to put it over. And absolutely, yeah, 4 points apiece there. And I suppose neck and neck. And I think, like, a lot of people obviously coming into this game very much believed that it was going to be very close. It was going to be very, very tight. There wasn't going to be a lot on the line. And you'd have to say so far that's definitely been the case. 4 points apiece. Tyrone just very, like, obviously when they have the ball, they are going to try and take the sting out of Mayo in the best way that they know how. 2 players clashing together there. John Toll says, South Armagh, Eamon, right, keeper lively. Yeah. Look, listen, and so, when Mayo are in All-Ireland finals, it tends to be a lively affair. There's no doubt about it. And so far, very much, we're seeing Noel Morgan here at the moment, racing out over onto, his own 65. It is always a bit wary when goalkeepers do that, because one bad pass, one mistake, and you put your team on the back foot. Lovely kick there from Darren McCurry, or is it Darren McCurry? I think it might have been Peter Hart, actually. Lovely kick there. And Tyrone have scored some very nice points, it must be said, so far in this game. They're getting a lot of joy down Mayo's right-hand side. Kieran McGeary actually with a point there. Lovely take. And obviously Kieran McGeary, a lot of people would have him as the, one of the candidates for Footballer of the Year. And especially if Tyrone come through that, you would probably expect him to probably get it. And that was a lovely score there as well. Mayo looking for the response. They are trying to be quick with the ball and work those opportunities and try and get in behind Tyrone. And there's Aidan O'Shea. He's put it wide. You were thinking, is that going to be his first point in an All-Ireland final? But he does put it wide. But I think so far, though, Aidan O'Shea has played well. Like, he's getting involved in the game. He's lively. I like what a lot of people say before. Aidan O'Shea isn't that Cillian O'Connor type player that's going to win you the game or score 2-7 or something to that effect. Like, he is a player that to hold up the ball, to create space for other players. And although he's put that wide, I think so far he's certainly been involved in the game, it must be said. Richard Flanagan says, any impression of Conor McKenna, Australian fan here? Yeah, I suppose so far he's been, I suppose like a lot of the game he has been fairly quiet so far. Tyrone probably haven't been able to really break on Mayo the same way they done against Kerry. And that was a lovely point there actually from Mayo, who've leveled the score. Beautiful kick. And 5 points apiece now in the game. Noah Morgan coming out with the ball again. Paddy Durkin with that most recent point as well. Obviously, big score that for Mayo to bring the game level. Tyrone trying to get the running game here. Mayo set up well defensively so far, and they've certainly, they're doing a good job here. They're trying to crowd Tyrone out. They're trying to force the turnover of Padraig Hampsey, Oisin Mullen. Brilliant bit of work there. And the referee calls a foul. I don't know if he picked the ball up off the ground or whether there was actually an infringement there, but I suppose there will be an opportunity for Tyrone to bring the game back and to go back in front again. Both sides really just trading blow for blow. Like there's no team really, you'd have to say at the moment, that's dominating proceedings here. Bit of scuffles going on the sideline there involving Ryan O'Donoghue, I've seen. Another Tyrone player there as well. Big opportunity this for Darren McCurry to make it 6 points to 5. It drops short. Robert Henley comes in. And I think Conor McKenna might have got a flick and ends up falling short. 5 points apiece anyways. Nothing from that score. If you are new around here, if you could hit the like button and subscribe, would very much appreciate it. We do a number of watch-along streams, podcasts, interviews, absolutely everything on the channel. So if you could subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. Definitely a lot of Mayo fans watching at the moment. Brendan O'Callaghan says, I backed Conor McKenna, first goal. Only player I know. Fair enough. Yeah, I do think Conor McKenna, I haven't put any money on Conor McKenna getting the goal, but I do think he's probably the most likely man to score for Tyrone, in my opinion. I mean, Colin McShane could come off the bench, probably get a goal. Dereck Hanlon has looked very lively, it must be said. Long ball in there. Aidan O'Shea wins the throw, and I suppose that's why you want Aidan O'Shea to have that physicality. Such a physical player, he can win those throw-ins, he can catch those high balls, and he just creates extra work for a lot of the Mayo or for a lot of the Tyrone players, and he definitely did take a bit of a blow there off the ball on the ground at the moment. James Costello says, what's your team? My team is Dublin, which unfortunately, as we very well know, we're beaten by Mayo fair and square. Mayo obviously getting that victory in the All-Ireland semi-final. But I suppose as a Dublin point of view, I mean, look, we'll see what happens next year. But, whoever does win this All-Ireland, I think it would just be massive for either county as well, because, to get that monkey off the back, as they say, like there's obviously there's no player on the pitch there at the moment that has an All-Ireland medal. Obviously, there will be 15 plus, obviously, when the final whistle blows, provided obviously it doesn't go to a replay. So I just think the baggage lifted for either county would be massive, I think, for Bow County. It must be said. And it would just, it would give them that kind of springboard to really go on. And, all of a sudden then, if Mayo are going into another All-Ireland final, I think, the baggage would have been lifted. was an opportunity there for Kieran McGeary, who got forward, puts it wide. Bit of a half chance, stays at 5 points apiece. .25 minutes gone in the game. Ryan O'Donoghue on the ball, plays a long ball in there. Oh, no, Morgan's off his line. And do you know what? Apparently, kind of wanted that to go in because Noel Morgan, he plays a dangerous game. He gets very far off his line, and Mayo done a really good job there. Like, they hit a long, dynamic front ball up into Tommy Conroy. And thankfully enough, from a Tyrone point of view, for Tyrone fans, there was I think it was Padraig Hampsey there who got the block in. That was an opportunity. I think goals are, whoever gets the first goal in this game, it could be massive. And an effort there from Conor McKenna goes wide. Lee Keegan certainly seeing the funny side of that one. It was actually Aidan O'Shea who had that opportunity. What a huge block that is. I mean, that is a tremendous block from, I think it might have been Matty Donnelly. I am watching this on RT Player at the moment, and it is, the stream is a bit fuzzy, so I can't clearly see everything, but Connor T says extra time. The game will be decided today. No chance of a replay. Yeah, there will be extra time, but if it is level after extra time, then there will be a replay. And definitely a lot of confusion leading up to this weekend's All-Ireland final. There was, I think, the Connacht Telegraph and a few other media publications were saying that it would go straight to a replay. A few others, the GAA had to come out and say that there will be extra time. So we probably won't really know until the 70 minutes are up. Tyrone leading by a point at the moment. Matty Donnelly breaking forward. I think he's been very, very impressive. Long pass into Conor McKenna. But Mayo do a great job there defensively. Good job there from Mayo to overturn. And I suppose that will be the factor. They will have to watch that, I suppose, counter-attack from Tyrone. 6 points to 5 at the moment for Tyrone. I think there's only been one stage in the game where a side has had more than a 1 point lead. Obviously, Mayo scored the first 2 scores of the game. Since then, really, it's kind of been back and forth. Like Tyrone, 3 points to 2 up, and then 4 points to 3, 5 points to 4, and now 6 points to 5. So, like, both sides really going toe to toe, and Tyrone are leaving a bit of space here at times, and like there is the opportunity there. Ryan O'Donoghue was looking to work a score, was looking to create the opportunity. It is a poor pass though, and Tyrone have intercepted, and I suppose this is where Tyrone will want to have the ball, and they do break very, very quickly. Con Kilpatrick laying it on. Forward pass into Matty Donnelly, who's trying to get away there from Stephen Cohen, I think it is. Lovely effort from Matty Donnelly, and it's a lovely point there from Tyrone. It's the first time in the game that Tyrone have had a 2 point lead, and brilliant, very patient play. And I think Matty Donnelly so far has had a tremendous game. It must be said, he's had a really, really good game so far. Matty Donnelly probably been the best player on the pitch so far in this game. He's just covering so much ground from defense to attack, and he's been absolutely brilliant. Noel Morgan coming out off his goal as well and hitting a direct long ball, and all of a sudden it's created a bit of space for Tyrone. Robbie Henley makes the save. What a huge opportunity that was for Darren McCurry. And I'll tell you what, like, that's a huge moment in the game, because if that goes in, it's a long ball. It was a very innovative bit of play from Noel Morgan to spot that long pass. Oisin Mullen gets caught under it. It was Conor McKenna who was there, play to Darren McCurry, who was trying to do a Ronaldo and play a nice, calm, slotted finish off the ground. But Robert Henley done a great job, to be fair. Brilliant save, and it does go out for a 45. You would have to say that Tyrone or Mayo have gotten away with one a little bit there. Brian Hyland says Mayo will not win today. We'll see what happens. I mean, 2 points down at the moment. Noah Morgan takes this one. Is that going over the bar? It is. So it's a 3-point game, and that's the biggest lead we've had in the game now so far. And I suppose for Mayo, like they need to stay in touch with Tyrone, because I do think Tyrone they're a very good team, in my opinion, at seeing out a lead, at seeing out the game. You know, fair enough, it might not be the Tyrone of old of 2008, 2005 that, you know, would have been far better at seeing out a game. They obviously had much more experience, whereas this Tyrone side doesn't have that experience of winning All Irelands. But 3 points up at the moment so far, and I think for most Tyrone supporters, they'll be very happy with how their team have played here so far. Mayo trying to break forward. Looks like they've won a free in at the moment. If you could smash the like button and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. On the road to 1,830 subscribers. So if you could subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. Ryan O'Donoghue here standing over the free. Big kick this now for Mayo. Big pocket of Tyrone support there on the hill. You can see definitely looks like the Tyrone fans have taken over the Hill 16 for this game anyways. Brilliant point from Ryan O'Donoghue, brings it back to a 2-point game. Important for Mayo, and I suppose with Mayo, like, they are driving at Tyrone and they are trying to get in behind. And they are, you know, they're creating a bit of space, it must be said. And they're winning a couple of frees. They're getting a couple of opportunities. So I think so far, like, Mayo fans, look, it's a 2-point game, still a long way to go. And they win the kick out as well. We're seeing there, Tyrone 8 turnovers so far, Mayo with the 7. So I suppose Tyrone, who had a lot of joy in turnovers against Kerry, they scored 2-9 from turnovers, but so far in this game anyways, they probably haven't had the same amount of joy, although they definitely have probably been slightly the better side so far, and they are 2 points ahead. Few comments coming in there as well. Appreciate all the comments coming in. A lot of people saying, "Come on, Mayo." Anne Marie says Mayo will do it. Just wait and see. Well, look, you know, you can definitely never write Mayo off. You know, I think we've learned that lesson down the years, really, that you know, you can't write Mayo off, because they always seem to find a way to come back into games. Noel Hanks says, "What are your predictions so far?" Well, I did make a prediction saying that Tyrone would win the game 110 to 11 points. Probably unlikely at this stage anyway. I mean, Tyrone look like they're about to get their 9th point here. They have a free in with Conor McKenna, who, you know, he's certainly been involved in the game, certainly been relatively quiet, but you know, Tyrone haven't quite needed him as of yet. It's actually Darren McCurry on the free there, I should say. So lovely point there from Darren McCurry. Tyrone 9 points to 6. And I suppose that's what Tyrone probably will do. Like, you can see them a little bit here at the moment. Like, they are pressing on Mayo, to be fair. Like, they're not allowing Mayo just to play it around from the back or play it from side to side. But so far, anyways, I think for Tyrone, like, they are putting pressure on Mayo players, and they're not making it easy for them. 3-point game at the moment as we approach half time. Do let me know your own predictions in the comments down below as well. Let me know how you see this game finishing. I suppose at the moment, Tyrone 3 points to the good as we approach half time. Tommy Conroy on the attack, trying to get away from Padraig Hampsey. Tyrone certainly sitting very deep. A lot of men behind the ball there at the moment, as Mayo need to be patient and try and work a score. I suppose, like, the thing is for Mayo is, you know, they they're at their best when they're running at teams. You know, they're at their best when there's open space, there's space to kick the ball into. But, you know, going up against a situation here where Tyrone have so many men behind the ball, it's always going to be tough for Mayo to try and work a score. But they are being patient on the ball. Conor Loftus on the ball there as well. 3 points to score at the moment to Tyrone. Rocket9 says it's going to be a draw. Yeah, I mean, you could see that happening, couldn't you? You know, it definitely could easily go down to a draw, and that's a lovely point there. 7 points to 9 now in the game. Looked like it was Stephen Cohen by the looks of it there. He gets his first score of the game. 7 points to 9 now in the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final as we approach halftime. I think the kickouts have been fairly even as well. Tyrone are certainly conceding the kickout. I mean, in similar fashion to what they've done against Kerry, you know, they are conceding the kickout, and then obviously they're looking to press as well, and that's a lovely point. 10 points to 7. Noel Sludden getting on the score sheet. He gets his second point of the game, and he certainly had a fairly impressive game here so far. I suppose still a long way to go from a Mayo point of view. Like Tommy Conroy here racing at Padraig Hampsey, who's on him. And then Ronan McNamee trying to cover. I suppose that's where Mayo do their best work. Really, is just driving at players, and might be half a goal opportunity here. Is that a penalty? Looked like there was a foul. Certainly looked like it was inside the square for me. And, you know, like that. I mean, Padraig O'Hara running all the way through. Looked like a clear foul, in my opinion, inside the square as well. So you'd have to say, like, surely that's a penalty. It was Peter Hart who looked to have to brought him down. Peter Hart, and then Peter Hart and Kieran McGeary as well. Looked like Kieran McGeary was actually the one who committed the foul. So, yeah, I mean, it certainly looked inside the square for me. So I think the referee's probably going to have to give a penalty here, in my opinion. I think it was definitely inside the square. Surely he hasn't given a free here, has he? I mean, looked like a blatant penalty, in my opinion. So it's going to be a free in. It's not a penalty anyways. Certainly looked like it was inside the D area, in my opinion. But Ryan O'Donoghue puts it over the bar. 2-point game. I mean, I'd like to see that again anyways. I mean, upon first view, I mean, maybe the foul happened slightly outside. Maybe that's why he's given it. But it did look like a penalty, in my opinion. Noel Hanks says Mayo penalty at Tyrone. It looked like it was supposed to be a Mayo penalty. It looked like it was inside, but we'll need to have another look at that again. It was Padraig O'Hara who was running through. He had Peter Hart and Kieran McGeary both on him. Peter Hart looked as if he was... See, I think that maybe he... Like, obviously, I'm not listening to the commentary here at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what they're saying on RTE, but certainly, you know, maybe because Peter Hart looked like he was pulling Padraig O'Hara back, so maybe the referee, blew his whistle before the hit came in from Kieran McGeary, and that's why he's given a free. But surely common sense should prevail there, and the referee should give a penalty. We'll update the score there as well. It is half time. Mayo with 8 points, Tyrone with 10. Yeah, so far, like you'd have to say, like first half thoughts. I mean, the game has generally gone in some ways as I expected. I mean, I definitely didn't think I did think Tyrone would win by a scoreline to 110 to, I think I said 110 to 11 points. I think was my prediction for Tyrone, and you would expect them certainly to score a lot more between now and the end of the second half. But yeah, so far for Tyrone, it's been, a similar way. The way Tyrone have sort of played this year is that they do seem to just, get the odd score here or there, get the odd point, keep the scoreboard chipping over, relying on some brilliance from Darren McCurry. Matty Donnelly's been absolutely fantastic so far in the game as well. Yeah, you'd have to say Matty Donnelly so far has been very, very impressive. I think Matthew Ruan's had a good game for Mayo as well. Like, I think, Tyrone are obviously conceding the kick out. They're allowing Mayo to play out from the back, but they are putting pressure on Mayo as well, like a man-to-man press. So it hasn't been too easy for Mayo to break through there. It's player one says it is a halftime. It's halftime. Tyrone 10 points to 8 in front at the moment. If you could share this out to friends, family, to as many people as possible. I know a lot of people probably watching this. Probably, I know a lot of people are in other countries and stuff. So, Connor T says big second half for Aidan O'Shea needed. Yeah, like he's been quiet enough. Connor T says there, like he's been fairly quiet so far in the game, but he's caught a couple of high balls. And he is that kind of physical presence. Like, he's going to win you a couple of frees. He's not the man who's going to score, as I said, on multiple occasions. He's not a Killian O'Connor type player. He isn't a marquee forward. He just isn't that type of player. Luke says, can't see Mayo winning it. Yeah. I mean, at this moment in time, anyways, I mean, it's a 2-point game. So, I mean, there's a long way to go. Like, look, listen, there's really nothing in it. It could really go down the line. Like, you see in there, Mayo are breaking forward. They get that opportunity where it looks like it should have been a penalty. And then the referee, the referee calls it as a free. And certainly it'll be interesting to see what happens here when the halftime analysis on RTE would be interesting to see that again. Colm McCormick says, do you think Mayo will win? Well, I suppose I gave a prediction at before the game started, obviously, that Tyrone would win the game 110 to 11 points. So still certainly at the moment, not deviating from that prediction at the moment. Anyways, I think Tyrone are just doing a little bit more. And I think Mayo are having to work very, very hard for their scores. Caitlin Power says all of Ireland will be in shock if Mayo win. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the one thing a lot of people probably speak about, and even people who probably don't even follow GAA, it's always Mayo haven't won an All-Ireland in 70 years, and this team that gets to so many finals and never wins it. So it would certainly be huge. It would be a massive story, and it would be, the biggest GAA story of the year. A few people asking, like, where can they watch the game? I suppose the game is available on RTE, GAA Go. Alan McHale says subbed, fair play, can't get this in Glasgow. Cheers very much, Alan, appreciate that. Hi from Luton. F the curse. Yeah, I mean, there is no curse really. Like, let's be honest. I don't really believe in any of that. But yeah, 2 points at the moment. Caroline saying there, hoping Mayo will have a strong second half. Yeah, and I suppose, look, listen, like, down the years with Mayo, they've actually, when you look back at a lot of their first half performances in All-Irelands, like, they have struggled a lot of the time to start fast. They've conceded a lot of early goals. They haven't done that this year. Like, they're still certainly in contention. And that going down the home stretch that Mayo are going to have a big push. Like, you're going to have players there coming off the bench like James Carr and a few other lads there as well. So it's definitely not over. Mayo still have a huge opportunity. And considering, you think back to the Galway game, you think back to the Dublin game, like Mayo were poor in the first half in those games. Like, they haven't been poor so far in this game. It's just that Tyrone have been that bit better. And, some of, like, as we're seeing, like some of Tyrone's scores have been very, very impressive. Like Matty Donnelly, Padraig Hampsey hitting one with the outside of his right boot. And Tyrone are getting a lot of joy on the right-hand side, Mayo's right-hand side, it must be said. Like Darren McCurry with 2 points over by Mayo's left-hand side, I should probably say. Tyrone's right-hand side. Always get the left and rights mixed up. Whoever wins, just keeping it warm for the Dubs. Surely everyone knows it. I don't know. Like, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, can Dublin come back and regroup again next year? Like, I suppose that's a big question for another day. Mayo have had chances, and Tyrone just seem to, like, in a similar way to the Kerry game as well, they always seem to have players there to get blocks in. Like, you've seen a goal line clearance. That Aidan O'Shea opportunity as well. Like, that was a huge block that came in there. Padraig is the player of the year. Yeah, like, he's certainly in contention. Like, you'd have to say he's definitely in contention. Like, he's been very, very impressive so far this year. We've got Pat Spillane in commentary. I mean, God knows what he's saying there. I'm very relieved I don't have to listen to that. Caitlin Curran says, I have a feeling in my waters, Mayo defo going to win. Fans can celebrate in advance. Let the fans get behind them. They will win. Well, certainly shouldn't celebrate in advance. I mean, I do get what you mean, though. Like, I do get what you mean. But I think you should never really celebrate in advance, because then you're setting yourself up, and for the opportunity that they don't win. I mean, imagine a lot of Mayo fans are probably very nervous watching this game, because such a huge game. Second half, probably about 5 or 6 minutes, I would say, so far. Here we go. Mayo show out for the win. Yeah, well, 2 points at the moment, and I think so far, like, you have to say, it's been very even. Like, really, just not a lot between both sides. Both sides creating half chances. But again, like, in a similar fashion for Tyrone against Kerry, where they were getting a lot of players like Padraig Hampsey getting blocks on the line and whatnot. Is this being shown on RT player? Can't find the game. I'm living in Leitrim. Yeah, should be available on RT player. Should be available. Should be able to watch it there. So yeah, and so far it's been, it hasn't been the most entertaining game in terms of lots of scores trading back and forth. But it's been very intriguing, very, very intriguing game, very close game. And we have seen some phenomenal scores so far in the game, in particular from Tyrone. Padraig Hampsey with one of the scores of the game, no doubt about it. So he's been very impressive, it must be said. And again, if Tyrone go on to win the game, he's probably in contention to win man of the match. Cheers very much for the comment, David. The beer is very nice. I must be said. You have to treat yourself to a beer on All Ireland final day. Charles says it's 30 counties versus Tyrone at the moment. Dublin just chilling in their Pope Ball, waiting to reclaim the title. As a Dub, I believe we're collectively rooting for Tyrone, as the Mayo curse is funny at this point. 30 counties, yeah. Well, who's the other two? Well, yeah, like I suppose I know a lot of like from speaking to Dublin fans, there is kind of a catch-22 where there's a lot of Dublin fans that would love to see Mayo get over the line because it's been such a long time, but obviously there's probably a lot of Dublin fans as well that probably don't want Mayo to have the moment, to have that moment of winning All Ireland and yeah, but I think from myself personally, like I definitely like to see Mayo get over the line. But I do think Tyrone so far have been very impressive, and it's definitely is going to be tough for Mayo to win it. But it is a 2-point game. There's a lot still on the line, so we'll have to wait and see as soon as the game starts. And like the bench, I suppose, will be an interesting one as well. And Anne Marie there says if Mayo can start strong in the second half, they have every chance of winning this. And yeah, I suppose they'll need to start in a similar fashion to how they started the first half. I suppose like they hit 2 points very early on. Definitely had Tyrone probably a little bit flustered in the opening 8 to 9 minutes or so. Once Tyrone settled and got into the game and started to kick a couple of points, Tyrone kind of started to take over the game a lot more. But you probably would have to say that Mayo, like, and when you look at their second half performance against the Dubs, the way they turned that game around, the same against Galway as well. So still a long way to go, no doubt about it. And as I was saying earlier, I mean, there is still options for Mayo to come off the bench. You obviously have Conor O'Shea in there, who I thought was fairly impressive when he came off the bench in the last game, and you've obviously got the James Carr in there as well. James Durkin's another good option to come off the bench. Darren Cohen as well, and the Hessian as well. So a lot of opportunities there, no doubt about it. So still a lot of opportunities for Mayo. What do you call somebody with nobody and just a nose? Nobody knows. There you go. Genius stuff right there. Even though you're cursed, do better. Yeah, well, I'm not cursed anyway. I hope not. Second half, anyway, should be about to go now in a couple of minutes' time. If it is level after the full 70 minutes, it will go to extra time. So we'll wait and see what happens there. Definitely still a confusing one with that penalty as well. Like it, just having another look at it here. Like you've obviously got Oisin Mullen driving through. Yeah, I suppose like it does look like it's slightly outside there. And the foul from Kieran McGeary just looks like it's slightly outside. So I suppose upon reflection, it probably does look like the correct decision. But I suppose at the same time, like, he was going through on goal. So it is an interesting one. I suppose like not even a card as well for Kieran McGeary, like for that challenge, which you would have to say is very surprising as well. Like not even a yellow. Probably a black card as well, like because it is an intentional, drag down. So So it is a surprising one, it must be said. Second half about to get going. Doesn't look like any changes from what I can see here at the moment. I suppose we try and just rearrange a few things there to get better light. So second half about to begin anyway. A couple of seconds away. James Horan, Kieran McDonald watching on. Huge second half for both counties, no doubt about that. And definitely a lot of comments coming in up Tyrone, up Mayo. I suppose, yeah, appreciate all the comments and everyone leaving comments and whatnot. Mayo out on the pitch at the moment, just waiting for Tyrone to come back for the second half. Tyrone definitely leaving Mayo out there a few extra minutes. Let them think a bit more about the game. But yeah, let me know anyway. Second half predictions in the comments down below. So far, anyways, Tyrone 2 points to the good, and here comes the Tyrone team for the second half. They come out onto the pitch. We'll see if there's any changes out on the field. 2 point game at the moment, so we could very well go to extra time. It is certainly very realistic. And Mayo will certainly need to start fast, in a similar fashion to how they would have started the first half with those 2 extra points. And I suppose Mayo probably have been most impressive this year in the second half at the, going down the final stretch in the game. So still a lot of opportunities there. Aidan O'Shea won the throw in, and it is a foul. And I suppose that is kind of, that's the big strength for Aidan O'Shea, isn't it? Hits a long ball there with his left foot, but cut out very well there. Cut out very well by Frank Burns. Tyrone just say Tyrone like you're from Tyrone. It will be cagey as well. Tyrone at the moment anyway, just knocking the ball around from side to side, trying to get a run here forward. Lovely bit of play from Brian Kennedy, who I think has been very impressive so far for Tyrone. And they're on the attack here at the moment with Michael O'Neill. Offloading it. And there's another lovely point there, it must be said. Did that go over? No, it went wide. It was Conor McKenna, who hasn't scored so far in the game. He's certainly been involved, but no score in the game so far. Mayo winning the kick out as well. Tyrone very happy to let Mayo win the ball from their own kick out, and then I suppose set up a bit more, push a few more men back and whatnot. A 2 point game. It was Aidan O'Shea who was running through. Referee looks as if he's called a foul the other way. Looked like coming together. Free out in the end there. One of the Tyrone players they're down at the moment. I suppose, obviously if there's a lot of stop, it could be very stop-start in the second half. With there being a lot on the line at the moment. There was a Tyrone player down there. I haven't got a chance to see who it was. Definitely getting fairly physical at the moment, like high challenges coming in and whatnot. Tyrone getting forward here. It's a long ball. It's just bounced a couple of times. Could be an opportunity here for Tyrone. Good defending in the end from Mayo. No score so far in the at the start of the second half. 10 points to 8, as you'll see on screen. 2-point game there at the moment. And Mayo on the attack here at the moment. Big opportunity. And it was a big chance there from Tommy Conroy. I think he's put it wide in the end, or he's as he put it over the bar. He's racing through, gets away from his man, ends up putting it wide in the end. I suppose it was a half chance, scuffed opportunity from Tommy Conroy. Certainly Noel Morgan looked well beaten anyways. Tyrone on the attack. I think Brian Kennedy and Con Kilpatrick have done a very good job so far in the midfield. Darren McCurry goes for the point, drops short. Robert Henley catches the ball. Mayo working it out here again. Just waiting for those right opportunities to come. And you probably would say, like, 3 to 4 minutes so far gone in the second half. And, we're seeing very much in the second half what we've seen in the first half, which is really that there isn't too much between the two. Paddy Durkin there getting forward. Done really well to get away from one or two players. Offloads it into Ryan O'Donoghue. Heavy challenge coming in there. I mean, that surely probably is a black card. I mean, you'd have to say it was Frank Burns who fouls Ryan O'Donoghue. Looked like a heavy challenge in the back. I mean, that's an intentional drag down. So probably a black card. Goes with the yellow. Fair enough. Stephen Shearer says, compared to the Dublin game, Mayo looked pedestrian. Also not quite sure that O'Shea is a quality enough forward to win games against the best opposition. Yeah, well, to be honest, I'd probably disagree, because I do think that Mayo struggled against Dublin for the opening 16 minutes, and there was a long ball in there, and there might be a massive scuffle inside the square. Mayo claiming that something, and the referee's going to call something. I think maybe he's saying Mayo picked the ball up off the ground. Or is he calling a penalty? I think he is. There was a long ball that went in. And I think maybe one of the Tyrone players picked it up off the ground there. Looked like it was Frank Burns, actually. So Frank Burns, who gave away the foul by fouling Ryan O'Donoghue. And obviously Mayo hit the long ball in. And I suppose, like, I obviously getting back to Stephen Shearer's point there, he was saying Aidan O'Shea, not a quality enough forward to win games against the best opposition. But, he's such a physical presence, though, that he is going to cause a bit of chaos and cause a bit of havoc. When he's on the pitch, he's such a physical presence. And he's seen there, like, long ball in. And he didn't win the ball, but he plays a part in the penalty, and here's a big chance for Mayo. Oh, and he's put it wide. It was Ryan O'Donoghue. It was a huge opportunity for Mayo. He puts it wide. The score stays at 10-8. No score so far in the second half. Hit the post. I mean, it would have been a pitch perfect penalty, but he hits the post, and oh, wow. I mean, there's been some fine margins down the years with Mayo and All-Ireland finals. You think of that Cillian O'Connor opportunity who hit the post. Now Tyrone are going down the other end, and it looked like it was Matty Donnelly. I didn't quite see. Maybe he was fouled. It's certainly a very explosive game here at the moment, and it's certainly opened up here a lot more now. You do think of, and Kieran McNally says there the curse is real. I mean, personally, I don't think so. I don't believe in any curses, to be honest with you. But there's just fine margins a lot of the time. Fine margins. Like you think of Cillian O'Connor when he hit the post with that opportunity a year later when it went, well, actually 2016 he misses that late free. 2017 he obviously hits the post. Dublin go down the other end. Dean Rock scores. So fine margins in all Ireland finals. And Ryan O'Donoghue steps up, hits the post, and it stays at a 2-point game. Noah Morgan, very, very far out off his line. And not too far away, I suppose, from the water break. Getting closer to the water break. And here comes Cathal McShane. He comes on the 43rd minute. Certainly coming on a lot earlier probably than people expected. Comes on the 43rd minute. And is it Matty Donnelly who's coming off? That would be surprising. I mean, unless Matty Donnelly has an injury. I'm not too sure about that. But, if he didn't have an injury, I'd be a bit surprised at taking Matty Donnelly off. And you're seeing there like a bit of a coming together between Darren McCurry and I think Lee Keegan, it seemed. Bit of afters off the ball as well. And this will be an opportunity for Robert Henley. Is he going to score? It looks like he has. It looks like Robert Henley's put that one over the bar. So it's a 1-point game. First point in the second half, and it goes to Mayo. And I suppose that is the thing, it's a 2-point game and Tyrone have done very well and all the rest, but Mayo are still there. They're not gone yet. Realistically, I suppose they were never gone, really. Like, always still going to have an opportunity to still be in the game. Tyrone going down the other end, meanwhile, and trying to work an opportunity themselves. Nothing comes of it, though. 44 minutes gone. I suppose coming close to the second half water break. And we end this curse on our own terms, lads. Well, that's it. Like, at the end of the day, it is a game of football. So, Mayo a point down at the moment and certainly still in it. And they forced a turnover there, over carrying. Looked like it was Tommy Conroy on the ball who ran too far forward. And that's what Tyrone will try and do. They done this against Kerry as well, where they really kind of lead you down a bit of a rabbit hole, a bit of a trap. Force you to make a mistake, force you to make an error. And that's obviously what happened. Tyrone, though, you'd have to say, well, they need to get a score here. They need to do something in the game because 10 minutes gone here in the second half, and they haven't scored as of yet. It's a long ball in, and it's a flick from Cathal McShane, and it's in the back of the net. Tyrone of a goal, and we were saying that before. The long ball that has been an issue for Robert Henley in previous All-Ireland finals and big games already this year. He comes rushing out there, gets caught in no man's land. Oisin Mullen's nowhere near him as well. Just a little outside the square, inside the D area. Cathal McShane with the flick into the back of the net. And that, we talked about fine margins. Mayo had the opportunity from the penalty spot. It hit the post. Tyrone have now got a goal, their first score of the game. And it did look, Paddy Durkin now has overcarried, and Mayo just look like they're slightly running out of ideas. Tyrone 4 points to the good, and that's a huge goal. And 4 points isn't the biggest lead in the world in Gaelic football, but that is still massive considering the way the game is going as well. Fortuitous goal. Personally, I disagree. I think, it was a great bit of improvisation for the long ball. Oisin Mullen wasn't able to get there, and neither was Robert Henley. Colin McShane got the flick and a brilliant bit of play. And I suppose for Tyrone, they very much threw something at Mayo there that we haven't that Mayo haven't had to deal with in the game. Like Tyrone haven't really been floating long balls into that area, and it caused a big issue. And Conor McKenna now standing over the free, hits it with his right boot. He's put it wide. That was a huge. I mean, you really need to be scoring that. I mean, would have been a 5-point game there, and all of a sudden, a lot of people talking about the curse. No bother, Michael. Cheers for your comments as always. Yeah, a lot of people talking about the curse and everything else, and I mean, yeah, like I personally, I don't believe in any of it, but I mean, and 4 points down, but here's a big opportunity here again. They just can't seem to work those opportunities, those scoring chances, but they do have a free here, so they will have an opportunity to make it a 3-point game now. Ronan Preston says the problem with Mayo is belief. Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, really, to be honest. Like, I think it's just a lot of the time it's just bad luck. Like, you have that penalty there, Ryan O'Donoghue. It's an almost perfect. Like, if that goes in the back of the net, you're talking about it being a brilliant penalty, and it hits the post, goes wide. One of them situations where sometimes sometimes those things happen. Sometimes those things don't always go your way. But Ryan O'Donoghue there with the score from the free. So 3-point game now going into the final 20 minutes. And I still do think that there will be a push here for Tyrone going down the home stretch, or a push from Mayo, I should say. I would expect, with the fact that Tyrone haven't won an All-Ireland in 13 years, like there's a lot of pressure there, and we will see nerves. And I do still think that Mayo definitely aren't out of this yet, in my opinion. And as Michael says again, their game's not over, going to be a spectacular end. And yeah, like I still do think it's going to go down to the wire. And Lee Keegan with a foul there. What card is he going to give? Yellow for a drag back. It looked like it was Matty Donnelly who was breaking forward. And this is a big opportunity now to make it a 4-point game. Cathal McShane comes off the bench and gets a goal. And this will be a huge opportunity. And it goes over. The Tyrone fans waving their flags behind the goal. But it is going to go to Hawkeye, I think. It's going to go to Hawkeye. See what happens here. I mean, it looked like a relatively routine free from Cathal McShane. And is that in? It isn't. There you go. It looked like a relatively routine free from Cathal McShane. But I suppose you do have to remember he's obviously coming off the back of a long layoff, a long injury. So, a little bit of rustiness there, and he puts it wide. And like, it is still a 3-point game. And we've seen there, Conor McKenna missed a free. Cathal McShane missed a free as well. Still think that there is going to be nerves there for Tyrone going down the home stretch. And I still do think there's an opportunity here for Mayo. I mean, there's always one big push with Mayo. We always get it in All-Ireland finals and all the rest. So you wouldn't you wouldn't discount them just yet, in my opinion. Padraig O'Hara is going off. I'm not too sure if it would be an injury. I think he's had a relatively good game so far. You would have to say. So Robert Henley now. And that one looks over. It isn't. It's wide. Stays as a 3-point game. It's definitely been a very tense and low-scoring second half. You know, Tyrone have got a goal, 110. 110 to 10 points as we probably about to go into the last or the second water break. Dereck Canavan now coming on. I mean, Tyrone are certainly bringing these players off the bench quite early to a certain extent. You know, Colin McShane coming on after 43 minutes. Dereck Canavan coming on after 53 minutes. So, you know, interesting stuff there. And as I said before, I'm not too sure if it was an injury for Matty Donnelly, because I do think he was having a very impressive game. Michael O'Neill goes off, so big chance for Dereck Canavan, who caused a lot of problems for Kerry when he came off the bench, forced that save from Shane Ryan, which Colin McShane was there to turn into the back of the net. Three points, bit of space to run into there for Kevin McLaughlin, but it looks of an opportunity here for Mayo. It's going to go for the goal. Is it wide? I think it's wide. It was, I suppose, a bit of a half chance for Jordan Walsh, who went for goal and ends up putting it wide. And like Mayo have had a couple of opportunities in this half for goals, and a lot of the time it's gone wide, and they haven't even got anything to show for it. And that would be a disappointment from a Mayo point of view, you would have to say. I suppose for James Horan, he needs to make a couple of big decisions. And the Hessian, he's obviously brought him on. He's brought Jordan Flynn on as well. You would expect James Carr to probably come on at some point, maybe Conor O'Shea as well. So I suppose for Mayo, they just can't seem to get in behind that Tyrone side. They can't seem to get into those spaces. Tyrone are protecting their goal very well, like just not allowing goal chances. You know, and like that penalty as well, so close from Ryan O'Donoghue, and it really is fine margins in All-Ireland finals. Oisin Mullen obviously getting caught under that high ball. Robert Henley coming out for it as well. You know, it's one of them situations where maybe Oisin Mullen needs to say, you know, that's my ball, and Robert Henley stays in his goal. And I don't think it would have been a goal then. Cheers anyone for getting your comments in. Really do appreciate it. As MCZ says there, 16 minutes left. 16 minutes left to go. Extra time still a possibility. Should Mayo get back into the game? I do think as well, like, fair enough, that was a goal opportunity for Jordan Flynn, but they need to make sure they still get something for it, because it's still 3 points, and you know, you don't be throwing the whole throw the kitchen sink at it. You know, you don't want to be doing that just yet, because it is still a 3-point game. There is still opportunities. There is still 16 minutes left. Still a long way to go. Kevin Kilban from Ohio says, up Mayo. Cheers, Kevin, for your comment. Mayo they're certainly not getting as much joy in the second half as they were in the first, in terms of running off the shoulder and creating those extra space. And Mayo just need to do a bit more here. There was a chance there from Tommy Conroy, drops short into the hands of Noel Morgan, and yeah, 110 to 10 is the score at the moment. You'll see it on screen there. There should be a score graphic on the screen, and yeah, Tyrone leading by 3 points at the moment. A bit of play there from Tyrone, trying to get in. Oisin Mullen gets the better of Colin McShane this time around, and this is where Mayo can cause a bit of problems, really, is on this counter-attack, running forward. I do think they need to just keep the scoreboard ticking over 1 or 2 points, and then it's a 1-point game. It almost looks like they're waiting for that perfect opportunity. There are opportunities presenting themselves, like Ryan O'Donoghue looked like a push, still has the ball, offloads it into Kevin McLaughlin. He decides to go all the way back to Paddy Durkin. Mayo being patient. They need to get something. I mean, they do have the influence of the crowd there as well. We all know the Mayo crowd love to get behind their team, but it's another wide. This time it's Conor Loftus, and it's just not working out here for Mayo at the moment. 3 points down, going into the final 14 minutes. And yeah, like the way I expected this game to go, it's very much happening, to be honest with you, at this moment in time, going into the final 14 minutes. But it's not over yet. It's definitely not over yet. Suzanne says, what's the chances of a draw? The GAA need to get money in after COVID. I mean, yeah, need to make as much money as possible, I suppose, and we'll see what happens. Could very well be a draw. There will be extra time, though. Like, if it is a draw is, after extra time. If it is a draw after extra time, then we'll have a replay. Here come Mayo on the attack again. Driving at Tyrone. They need to get something from this, even a point or something. Look like a drag down off the ball. Lovely turn there. And that's over the bar. It's a brilliant point from Kevin McLaughlin. 2-point game. Mayo are certainly still not out of this. Like fair enough, Mayo have struggled at different stages in this second half. They've missed a couple of opportunities, but Tyrone with just the one score in the second half, and that was the goal. Missed a couple of frees. Carl McShane missing that and that free. Conor McKenna missed another one as well. So Mayo are still in this, and because this Tyrone team, there's no players on the pitch for Tyrone that have won an All-Ireland. They don't have the experience of seeing out these massive, big games, like these huge All-Ireland finals. So, there's still a bit left in this game. And Tyrone on the attack at the moment. And it's in the back of the net. Tyrone of a second goal. What a finish there. I literally put the screen back on, and it looks like it was Conor McKenna who put the ball in the back of the net. Again, it's another long ball. Brian Kennedy catches it. And everything's happening too fast here. I've managed to miss the goal, but it looked like it was Conor McKenna who turned it in. Tyrone 2-10, 11 points now. And all of a sudden, it's becoming a very difficult game now going down the home stretch. Very hard to see how Mayo turn it around from here. Looked like Matty Rowan there trying to kick a score. Lee Keegan, as a matter of fact, he gets on the score sheet. I suppose it wouldn't be an All-Ireland final without Lee Keegan scoring. And 4 points now going down the home stretch. A lot of people saying it's over. I've seen someone else say that's game as well. So a lot of people thinking that this one may be now, like it's over. Like, still, I've learned my lessons never to rule out Mayo. I still think they have something in them here, but at the moment it's a 4-point game, and Mayo are just struggling with those long balls. Like, it was Brian Kennedy who caught that long ball originally, worked it on, I think, to Matty Donnelly, and Conor McKenna obviously got the goal. So, 4 points now going into the final 10 minutes. Mayo needs something big. They need a goal. They really do need a goal, and they've had a few half chances with goals. So it's Ryan O'Donoghue standing over the ball, and he puts it over, does he? It looks like he does. 3 points in the game. I do need to update the score as well. I mean, there's still hope for Mayo fans. I mean, look, listen, what was it? They were after 63 minutes against the Dubs, before Jeremy O'Connor got that flick back into Robert Henley, who put it over the bar. Robert Henley with the flick. Jeremy O'Connor flicked it back. Mayo obviously go on to score. That was really when Mayo turned it around. They were 5 or 6 points down, I think, at that point. So it's not over. It's definitely not over. As Siobhan Breen says, one kick. So again, Tyrone are getting a lot of joy in behind Mayo. Like, they're playing that very direct ball into the full forward line, and it is causing problems. Like, Tyrone nearly had another goal chance there again. 9 points to go, or 9 minutes to go, I should say. 3-point game. Ryan O'Donoghue there with an opportunity, put it wide. Tyrone do have a player down here at the moment with an injury. I'm sure Tyrone are probably going to try absolutely their best to slow the game down as much as they can. We're going to see this goal again. Conor McKenna gets into the open space, hand pass, and it was Darren McCurry who actually got the goal. Brilliant bit of play by Conor McKenna. Lovely vision and awareness to find the pass for Darren McCurry. He's there. He puts it into the back of the net. And I suppose you'd have to say Darren McCurry, if Tyrone do go on and win this, which is looking likely at the moment, you would have to say that I think Darren McCurry is probably in contention to win Footballer of the Year. Tyrone playing it from side to side. I mean, we will see a bit of nerves from Tyrone. And look, listen, we've seen with the Dubs against Mayo a few weeks ago, playing it from side to side, all in around your own 15-yard line is a very risky strategy. So yeah, going down the home stretch, 3 points in here at the moment. Siobhan says McGreary, Footballer of the Year. You could arguably say so as well. And routine free there from Peter Hart, who puts it over the bar. And that's actually Tyrone's first point of the second half, believe it or not. 2 goals, but that is their first point, and it could be a huge one as well. It's very hard to see how Mayo. See, when it's a 3-point game, you'd never say never. You'd never say never, but when it's 4, it's a tough one. But they are going forward here at the moment. Lovely bit of play by Conor Loftus. Needs to play the ball there into one of the Mayo forwards who made a forward run. He was in the open space, and Mayo are committing a lot of men forward now at the moment, and Tyrone are able to play that game of hitting Mayo on the counter-attack. That's kind of really how they got that second goal, was hitting Mayo on the counter-attack. And Conor McKenna obviously running through. Tyrone, 4 points to the good going into the final 5 minutes. Tommy Conroy with an explosive run, getting forward, needs to put it over the bar. It looks like he has. Big point there from Tommy Conroy, and it keeps Mayo in it. They're not out of it yet. 3 points, always a chance. And, I was just about to say that Mayo maybe need to do something a little bit different, like maybe find a different option coming off the bench. And stream my RT player stream is froze at the moment, so I actually can't see anything here. Yeah, the scoreline at the moment is there's 3 points in it, but my stream is froze here for RT player, so I actually don't know what's happening here going down the final few minutes. I don't know if I don't know if this stream is even still going, or there's a few technical difficulties here. I'm not quite sure. So Robert Henley now, and that one looks over. I don't know. Looks like the stream is still going anyway here at the moment. So going down the home stretch at the moment, just seeing some of your comments coming in there. I'm not too sure what's going on with the stream over an RT player. Seems to have stopped working for me at the moment, but at the moment anyway, there's just a few minutes to go. It's 2-13 for Tyrone, 14 points for Mayo. It's looking like it's going to be Tyrone's All-Ireland Senior Football Championship, but it looks at things here at the moment, folks. Going down the home stretch. And I suppose for Tyrone, like I think they've been the better side, in my opinion. I think they've been very deserved of this victory. Should they be the ones to go on now and win the All Ireland? That's certainly looking that way at the moment. So apologies there, folks. Just a few connection issues there. I've missed the last 5 minutes or so of the game. It does look like we're going down the home stretch here at the moment. Just a few minutes to go. As we see there, 2-14 to 14 points at the moment. We're going down into the final minute of extra time. Watchalong was sent off as well. I have no idea what that was for. As I said, unfortunately, all my internet connection just went there in the last moment or so. But yeah, 2-14 to 14 points. And it's looking like it is going to be Tyrone's All-Ireland final. It's looking like Mayo are going to be beaten in yet another All-Ireland final. They need something magical to happen here. I mean, it's far too late at this point. They don't just need one goal. They need 2 goals, realistically speaking. And look, listen, I suppose for Mayo, they beat Dublin. That was a huge achievement. There's no doubt about it. But, Tyrone they'll be delighted with the victory. And as we're going down the last minute here, Ryan O'Donoghue goes for the goal. I mean, it just seemed like Mayo never really kicked on. They never really had that final opportunity, that final straw. Like they needed to do something different. They needed to make a couple more changes. The Tyrone fans are on their feet. They're about to win their 4th ever All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final. The first was in 2003, then 2005, then 2008, and now 2021. Any minute now, Tyrone are going to win the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. What a story. Brian Dooher, Fergal Logan, their first season as managers of Tyrone after Mickey Hart stepped down. And there was a lot of questions after, obviously Mickey Hart got relieved of his duties. Obviously he didn't want to, he would have stayed and he wanted to stay at Tyrone, but, and Aidan O'Shea with a long ball, still maybe another minute or so to go in this game. Tyrone win it again. Their brilliant defensive display, like Michael McKernan winning that long ball as well. Absolutely tremendous stuff. And like Darren McCurry scoring 1-4, arguably man of the match. James Horan watching on and disappointment. Colin McShane drops to his knees, and Tyrone are All-Ireland Senior Football Championship winners for 2021. What a huge achievement for Tyrone. Unfortunately for Mayo, it is unfortunately yet another All-Ireland Senior Football Championship final defeat. I think it's the 6th county now they've lost against in All-Ireland finals since 1951. Their bad run of All-Ireland finals continues, unfortunately. But for Tyrone, look, listen, it's all about them. It's Tyrone's day. Let's speak about Tyrone. Let's discuss them. They're the All-Ireland champions. They've had their moment. Their 4th ever All-Ireland. Their first in 13 years. Colin McShane in tears. I mean, what a story. What a story for him. I mean, he's obviously playing that club game just after the lockdown, I believe it is. Tears his cruciate. Some people saying, is he ever even going to play again? Is he ever even going to play again for Tyrone? We didn't know. He was out for about a year this year as well. He obviously missed the entirety of the 2020 championship, 2021 as well. It was looking like, where are we even going to get to see him? He was making the odd appearance here or there. He comes off the bench in the final. He gets the goal. He wins Tyrone, the All-Ireland for the first time in 13 years. I mean, talk about fairy tale stuff. That is a fairy tale. And unfortunately for Mayo, Aidan O'Shea, and, you're seeing the same look, unfortunately, for a lot of, these Mayo players that we've kind of seen down the years. And yeah, someone saying there, bollocks to the curse. Well played, the Red Hands. Absolutely. Well played, the Red Hands. It's all about them. Huge achievement. All about Tyrone today. Better team on the day. No doubt about it. Mayo had that penalty from Ryan O'Donoghue. He misses the penalty. A long ball. And that was something I was even saying in the preview, is that I do think Mayo have had a bit of vulnerability under high balls this year. We've seen it against Clare. That long ball that went up. And it was Darren O'Neill who done it there. I'll have to get rid of it. Jeez, what kind of comments are coming in there? And we did see that Mayo were vulnerable under that high ball, and lo and behold, it's happened again. Another long ball went in. Colin McShane gets away from Oisin Mullen. Robert Henley misjudges the ball and goes in the back of the net. And from there, like, Mayo needed to push up. They needed to get more men forward. Left far too much space in behind, and there was Conor McKenna who made that forward run, overhand pass, Matty Donnelly inside the square, puts it in the back of the net, and Tyrone from there have gone on to win the All-Ireland. So there we go. Michael says maybe next year. I'm sure Mayo don't want to be hearing about that. And, unfortunately for Mayo, it's the same thing again. They needed to do something different going down the home stretch there. They needed to try and really do something a little bit more. And like you're looking at, James Carr came off the bench far too late for me, coming on 73rd minute. Like a lot of their substitutions were very late. Aidan Orne came on the 66th minute. Darren Cohn after 58 minutes. Like, I think their subs were just a little too late. And Mayo, for as well as they've, for James Horan, for as good as the big calls that he made against the Dubs, like obviously taking off Aidan O'Shea, you'd have to say, surely he should have brought some of those players on a lot earlier, and they needed to do something a little bit different. Like they needed to really try and, maybe put Aidan O'Shea in a full forward and maybe try something like that, try something a bit different. But Tyrone were fantastic. They really, really were. And you can see Noel Morgan jumping for delight. I mean, a huge moment for him and huge moment for Tyrone. No doubt about it. And as I said before the start of the game, I wanted Mayo to win personally, because it's taken 70 years since they've won an All-Ireland. But for Tyrone, I mean, just absolutely massive. And there was always that big question, like with Tyrone, like they're all trying to live up to that team of the 90s. They're trying to live up to the 03, the 05, the 08 team. And Colm Kavanagh, retires a couple of years ago. Colm Kavanagh then as well. They obviously had no All-Ireland winners left in their team. And then, all the big question was, do Tyrone have what it takes to beat a Kerry, to beat a Mayo? And the answer was yes. They've done it. They've done it very well. Brilliant play on the counter-attack. And unfortunately, it's a cruel game. And as Angel says here, like, disappointed, missed opportunities and didn't take advantage of their chances. And absolutely, like, Mayo had a couple of goal opportunities. There was that chance where James Carr was running through, puts it wide. He obviously then had, it wasn't James Carr, I should say. It was Tommy Conroy who was going through. Sliced at the opportunity, really hit the side net. And you Jordan Flynn as well, who had a half chance, missed the penalty as well. So yeah, they had opportunities, but it didn't quite happen for them. He obviously had that block on the line at one stage as well. Aidan O'Shea had a chance in the first half, and Padraig Hampsey got the block in. So fantastic stuff from Tyrone. And there will be a match reaction out in about 10 to 15 minutes time. I'll be giving my instant reaction to the game, an instant match reaction after the game. So make sure you stay tuned for that. For Tyrone, huge achievement, massive achievement. Conor McKenna there as well. What a story for him. Comes back from Australia, loses his first championship game. He hadn't won a championship game up until this year. And, they beat the Ulster champions, Cavan. They beat Donegal, who had their number in many ways over the past couple of years. To then go and beat Monaghan, a very good Monaghan team with the likes of Conor McManus in there. They go and beat the favourites in Kerry, and now they've gone and beaten Mayo, the same team who conquered and beat the 6-in-a-row champions, Dublin, just a few weeks previous. So huge achievement, massive congratulations to Tyrone. For Mayo, look, listen, I suppose it's one of them things. Mayo are always, they're always thereabouts, and you would wonder, surely at some point they're going to have to get over the line. But at the same time, it's another one that's got away from them, like 2012, like 2016. It's another All-Ireland final that's got away from them. And it'll be a painful one to take, I think, for Mayo fans. I think this defeat will probably, I don't know, Mayo fans can let me know down in the comments below. Maybe I feel like this is the toughest one to take, because you beat the Dubs. You did it. You beat Dublin. But unfortunately, Tyrone have been the ones to beat Mayo in the All-Ireland final. So, cheers to anyone who tuned in. There will be a match reaction out in about 10, 15 minutes time. I'll be streaming it live as well, just talking a bit more about the game and delving more into the entirety of the game. So stay tuned for that. And cheers to anyone who tuned into the stream. Obviously, towards the end of the game there, we had a few technical difficulties there. My internet went. But yeah, fair play to Tyrone. Massive congratulations for them. And Tyrone are All-Ireland senior champions for a fourth time.